wasn't even gonna bring it up. I wasn't, because it's a common thing. The only reason I bring it up is because what I had as a common thing has become more and more uncommon lately. Maybe my brain's not working as fast as it used to, or maybe it's working faster than it ever has. I can't be sure. Either way, it's a confounding experiment. But I'm a person that's known for being spotted helping people all over the town of Gaylord. I once directed traffic in an accident scene. I just got out of first aid training, and that Vicky, she was giving me a ride home from work, a ride into town. I didn't know why. Normally I rode my bicycle. But we'd had first aid training, and you know, I know what it is to do first aid. I've been trained first aid years and years and years and years, all throughout my life. It seems every 3 to 5 years I'm getting first aid training. And it's like, yeah, this is just, you know, they keep changing it. Nah, I'm just sticking with the old shit. At least I tried it. I did that. Damn it. At least I tried. We just had first aid training. That's when I was working as a professional wrestler with the mentally handicapped. Judas! Come in. Ha! The only thing I was missing was an outfit, but I didn't need it because when they saw me, they knew they needed to shut the fuck up and settle down. That's an awful thing to say. It sounds awful, and it isn't funny, but it is sometimes. You get called in bad situations as a professional wrestler. So we'd had first aid training that day. Whole place was closed down. And the whole place, the staff, I was on this side of the table in that place. We had first aid training. On the way back, accident by Walmart, and she's like, oh no. And she's so excited to use her first aid training, and I'm sitting there going, I don't want anything to do with this. I don't want to be standing there thinking I know this person and I don't want to help. Something like that. So I said, I will direct traffic. And with my military training, I say, yeah, hop, 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 you know, all this stuff, you know, center, hop, 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 you know, stop and all this shit. I'm getting mixed up with my airplane training now. But, so I went and directed traffic, and my old friend saw me, and she said later, as she yelled at me, she was going by, she was just yelling, and I'm directing traffic, and there was at one point, there was this old woman, she stopped to rubberneck. I was moving traffic, it was moving really well. I'm impressed with the military standard of fucking traffic fucking control, you know? It was moving. And this one old woman, this granny, she stopped. Granny, by that I mean a feeble-minded person, someone who hasn't seen enough horror in her life to be desensitized. And so she's looking at it, and I said, Harry! And she looked at me and I said, go, go, go! And she said, oh, and she drove on, and people were moving, and the cops showed up. Because we were there at the beginning of the fucking accident, and Vicky's over there doing first aid or trying to remember what she was supposed to have learned that day. Cops show up. He says to me, he looks, he says, and I'm directing traffic, and he sees the way I'm moving. And he says, "You okay?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "You got this." And he just walked off and he went and dealt with the fucking accident scene, and I'm still fucking directing traffic. I was like, holy shit, he didn't even know who was standing here. I talk so much shit. How else can you get away with talking a bunch of shit than to take care of the shit around you? It all comes around, you know? And so one girl, person I know from another person, I won't say any names, and she's going by and she just happens to see me directing traffic. And in a militant stance, I was standing and I was doing that. I was looking like, you know, well, that's how you're trained to. That's what you remember. If you learn something drunk, you remember it drunk. Korsakoff psychosis. And she said, "Where is she? Judas, where are you not?" Something she screamed as she was passing by. I'm like, "Hey, I know her." And, hey. And then you hear stories. But that's what I do. And so today, I never meant to even talk about this. Except, all the times I'm driving by people, I used to stop for everybody when I lived in a small town like Gaylord. Somebody's stalled in the street, I'll push their car into a fucking parking lot. However far it goes. But you get in a metropolitan area and it's like, you're going at such a high rate of speed with everybody trying to fucking kill you. You look, you see some poor bastard and you go, I should help him. He's walking down the road with a fucking gas can. That's the last guy that I was like, fuck. I thought too long, should I or shouldn't I? I thought too long about it. And by the time I decided, yeah, I was too far away to be pulling off the damn freeway to let him, that poor bastard. And then today I saw something on the side at an intersection I was going through, and I was able to cut across out of the straight through lane into the turning lane because there was nobody over there at that exact moment. Hood up, big guy, and he's standing in front of his car and there's a truck behind him. He's the one at the front left turning lane of the damn getting onto that road, and I'm like, this guy's in trouble. And I said, I didn't get through the thought of, do I have time? Should I help him? I got to the point immediately, like, I don't have time to think about this. This is a chance to help. And so I fucking flashed across and out, and I got on and I said, you want to push it up this hill? And he said, ah. And I said, I'm pulling up here, I'm coming back. And so I pulled into the driveway up the hill. It's a hill like that. It was an MG midget, the smallest car with the biggest man I ever saw that day. And so we pushed it up the hill. And as we were getting in traffic that was trying to make a left onto that road, he said, there are cars coming. I said, just keep going. If they don't like it, they can help. And we're pushing that damn thing up, and he was steering it. And he's pushing the side of the car. I was glad he didn't get in it. Man, about 6'3", 6'4", big man. I was like, oh boy, this is gonna be a hard push. But I got to do it. And the point I thought about all that when it was all over and I saved the best spot for him, he started going towards another spot. And when I pulled into that parking lot up the hill, I purposely chosen a parking space for the way we were pushing this car. It was the best parking spot in the lot, right next to a handicap place. And so he started to turn around where he was going to put his hood into the weeds, whether he knew it or not, because it was easier to go downhill after we'd been doing that, but we would have lost the car. There would have been no time for him to get in and hit the brakes. We were pushing that fucker up a hill. And as he started turning, I looked at him and I said, "Oh no." I said, "I saved you the best spot, right there, next to that handicap space." And he understood immediately, and he turned the wheel back around and we rolled it right up in there. And it was an MG midget with the biggest man I saw today. He had an MG midget, and he just bought it for his wife. He said he was finding it to be more trouble than it was worth. That's not saying anything bad about an MG midget. He opened the hood and the engine looks just pristine, spectacular. It's just an old car from like the 60s or 70s. When I told Victoria, she thought I was making a midget joke. And I was like, no, it was a car. And the thing is, this guy, can you tell by looking at me what kind of political orientation I have? And see, that's kind of a trick question, because I don't. You have no idea how upset I am with that poor guy for making me vote this year. I said it. We're living in Arizona now, baby. Schwarzenegger Freeman 2024. Wrote it in last time, didn't work, but I think the country's ready for a change. Schwarzenegger Freeman. And the thing is, you helped somebody like that. We were very friendly by the time it was over. I shook his hand. We don't know who each other are, but this was that was the second moment of what somebody might call bipartisanship that happened today. And just as I say, 90 seconds, a moment, a 90-second English measure of time. That's all I had with either of these people. One even less. Them trying to figure out who I am. As it turns out, it doesn't matter because we get along just fine. It's not about making everything better for yourself in the now. The better stuff you put out, the more comes back. It's that little puddle in the fucking pond. The ripples go out, they come back. It's the butterfly effect, it's whatever you want to call it, but you gotta be able to help people. If you can't help people, who's gonna cover your ass in the end?